In this video, we talk about supply chain and supply networks. Now, this video and a series of videos to follow are in response to a member's question since Miss Tumisang Elijah from Botswana wanted to know more about network sourcing. So yeah, let's start by first of all talking about what supply chain and by extension supply networks are. When you talk about supply chain and supply networks, now there are two things that you need to understand. The first one being upstream operations and the second one downstream operations. Because basically supply chain can be defined as a group of partners who collectively convert basic commodity into finished product that is valuable by end user and who manage returns on each stage. Based on that definition, there are two things that come out clearly. The first one is conversion of basic commodity, which simply means upstream operations. By upstream operations, we're talking about what happened to your raw materials, okay, from them being raw materials, all the way to where now they want to be converted into finished products. The second thing from that definition is finished products. Now, finished products simply means downstream operations. And by downstream operations, we're talking about now that you have your finished products all the way to when the end user will actually have them. And so the connection between the upstream and downstream operation is what will end up giving you a supply chain. And then again, depending on how many customers and suppliers are in that network, you end up with, well, a supply network. So let's make this one practical. Think of a company that produces soft drink. In fact, let's make it your company. So let's say you have a company and it produces soft drinks. At this point, the company is the focal point, okay? It's the main thing. But then again, your company will only survive if you have suppliers and if you have customers. Now, the question of how many suppliers are in that network, as well as how many customers are in that network, is what creates the difference between supply chain and supply network. So in case of your business, this particular business, the soft drink business, your upstream operations will start with the guys who do the fruit farming. We're talking about, in this case, let's just say apple farmers. For the sake of understanding the difference between suppliers and supply network, let's assume that you don't deal directly with those apple farmers and that in fact you get your product from suppliers who deal with the farmers. So in that case, the apple farmers are tier 2 suppliers and the suppliers you deal with direct are tier 1 suppliers. Now let's assume that your business is also successful and so you have distributors buying from you and then they distribute to shops, supermarkets or vending machines. All of those, as far as your product is concerned, are customers. But they are not the same customers. The distributors who buy directly from you are tier 1 customers, and those who buy from them are tier 2 customers. Looking at this process, you have a supply network. Well, if you just focus on the parties you're dealing with, you have a supply chain. A supply chain is a global network used to deliver products and services from raw materials to end customers in an engineered flow of information, physical distribution, and cash. So in order to figure out if you've understood the lesson or not, can you try and come up with a supply network for food in an aeroplane? Okay? Let's assume that the catering is done by a different company. So think about that one. Regardless of how complex a supply chain may look, there are always going to be 3 properties that they will all have. There's always going to be an organization that engages with suppliers and customers. There's always going to be upstream and downstream operations. And the last thing is that the upstream and the downstream operation will always work to achieve maximum value. In conclusion, while organizations may focus on their production, finances, and marketing, because they're trying to achieve their competitive advantage, whatever it is that gives them an edge against other organizations, you should remember that, or they should remember that managing the networks that lead to these 3 is key if they're going to be very successful. That concludes this video. Remember, the whole point behind this video was try to help you understand what supply chain is and what supply networks are. So remember, in supply chain, the organization simply focuses on their supplier and their customers. While in order for it to be a supply network, then we have to look at the supplier's suppliers as well as the customers, and so on and so forth. I'm Moses from Zeret Network, and I'll see you in the next video.